Goods. Hello. Welcome to an extremely important event.
We're in the void.
We have been spending the last year on Until We Beat. Not me, mostly QB and Solon have spent the time playing every single numbered Final Fantasy game and a lot of the spin-offs, including all of the sequels. 10-2, 13-2, and Lightning Returns. You've played Crisis Core. You even played Dirge of Cerberus. And we did that because we knew this was coming out. And we wanted to be, we just wanted to build it up as a big thing. And obviously, due to what WWE is choosing to call the prevailing circumstances, this isn't as maybe as jubilant as an event as most of us were hoping for. But I'd still say this is one of the events I've been most excited for ever. And it's here. We just got it in the mail this morning. We were expecting to have to wait a lot longer, and we were, very pleasantly surprised. I woke up. You woke up. We both woke up early. Anyway, let's just go ahead and get on with it. So here's the box for the deluxe edition, the full size box. It obviously just contains all of the contents. Mini soundtrack. Don't know what's on. Oh, here we go. We got Prelude, Tifa's theme, Shinra theme, Scorpion Sentinel, On Our Way, the Turks theme. Let the Battles Begin is the name they've gone with for the battle theme. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, no, that's actually been used before, but there's been a lot of different names for the FF7 battle theme based on different translations and shit. Flowers Blooming in the Church. Hurry. Main theme of FF7, which a lot of people better know as the world map. Lay Down Some Rubber, which I would figure is the chase sequence music from the end of the game, end of this game. And Stand Up, which I don't remember from the original game. There's a deluxe edition art book. I'm not going to bother going through it right now, but I'm sure it's quite nice.
Can you run the data disk? I don't think it's even running yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad.
Oh, it's okay.
My bad. Well, I don't have it on my TV.
Okay, there we go.
Okay.
Hopefully it's doing it. There we go.
And here we have
4D gigabyte data disk.
Here we have the steel case, standard issue with a lot of these special editions, and on the inside, you've got the cover of the kind of like a widescreen format of the classic FF7 cover, and creme de la creme, game itself. We've got the art itself is just a reimagining of the classic box art from the original FF7, which I've got a copy of sitting around here somewhere. And what do we got on the back of the box here? The legend returns for all generations.
All generations. So they're still banging the drum on for first timers and old timers.
Right. What begins as a rebellion against an evil corporation becomes much more. There you go.
Becomes a family.
And what erupts goes beyond
the
imagination.
Strongest families
are
the anti-cap families.
The story of this first standalone game in the Final Fantasy VII Remake project covers up to the party's escape from Midgar and goes deeper into events occurring in the city than the original FF7. Hey, this box is extremely honest about what this is.
Yep.
They're telling you straight up, dude, don't expect anything close to the original.
Yep. Flame Scion! How's Argentina doing? Yeah. So quarantine's gonna end in August. That
makes a lot of sense. You're probably gonna have.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So.
Even in South America.
Oh, and here's the I know I've mentioned it a billion times now, but yeah, there's a data disc and a play disc. So we're letting the game install. I guess it's still got some time. And
yep.
Sean, do you mind if I pull out the insert so I can show the reverse cover art?
Go for it.
Thank you.
Ooh.
On the reverse, we have just a flat black cover art. I don't know why you would want that. I guess that's.
Wow, I kind of thought you would be all for the flat black. Flat black.
Well, I mean, it's
clean.
It doesn't look bad. I'm just saying, if you're choosing between that and
a
reimagining of the classic box art. Yeah.
The kicker, though, is that it's got the same backside insert.
Mm-hmm.
Should be all black. should just be matte black all the way across.
Yeah. I think if it was like a consistent thing that made it look like a book cover, then I'd be much. I like it. I like it when you can flip the thing over to remove the advertisorial.
Yeah, all the warning labels and stuff. And
right, all that.
Data disc labels.
That's what all of those cool inverted covers from back in the Op Rainfall days, when those 3 games came out, they all had reversible covers.
Yeah, Flame Sign, don't worry. This game is going to include a lot from Crisis Core.
We have a Cactar summoning materia. Okay, so I'm glad you are already aware of that. That's good.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm super happy about that, because I like Crisis Core a lot, and if you don't, I think you're a baby. Same thing. Actually, pretty much, that's how I feel about pretty much the entire FF7 franchise. I've seen most of it, and I'm like, yeah, every time they've revisited this, they've had something interesting to put back into it. So
when we get closer to like 30 gigs on the actually, QB, can you raise the AverMedia background that we have right now so that people can see the loading bar?
What else do we have?
That's me. Oh yeah, just lower.
I guess
QB.
I guess we can go. Oh, that's
funny. Less helpful. Can you raise both of them now? Because
I guess we can go over the other inserts that are in here. Square Enix member points.
There we go. That way we can fill up the screen more.
Cactar summoning materia, which excites me, but I wish it was Doom Train. And
sorry, man, they're never going to put over
I don't think they're ever going to do Doom Train again, unless I need to get a job at Square to save Doom Train.
Save Doom Train. You go to Tabata's office. Bang, bang, bang. Give me the train.
It's like pitching an idea to Vince McMahon.
I had a dream last night. About where someone came up to me and was like, they were like, you can't just always talk about Doom Train. I don't know why, but I had a legitimate Doom Train dream last night where I like went off on someone. I don't know. I was in a mood last night. I was in a foul, angry mood, and so I just had a dream where I went off on someone about Doom Train, and I just remember in my dream screaming, VII makes you invincible and makes the man weak.
So you just turned into me for
I don't know.
I mean, yeah, that's just you're just quoting things I've said in your dream.
No.
Oh, okay. So this art book has comments.
Quarantine has done some stuff to both of us.
Yeah, we might as well go over this art book because we got some time. Forward from producer Yoshinori Kitase.
Oh man, now I'm really wishing that I don't have. Yeah, I don't have the overhead. So at the beginning of this year, with all the Final Fantasy stuff, and all this is all saved on YouTube and archived, so that we can always go back to looking at what happened. For the Final Fantasy Until We Beat series 1 through 13, we had a projector, a document camera that could cover documents like this, and now because of the quarantine, I don't have that. I couldn't go to the school and pick one of those up, and I didn't know I had to either, because I didn't realize that we would have documents that we could show off or time to do that. So it's a little thing, but it's been so nice over the last year to just make a stream that wilds out in all sorts of directions, and I'm really, really proud that we were able to just have the art book always on display for Final Fantasies 1 through 13. Doom Train. Flame Science says Doom Train. Solon, stop.
Okay.
No, I must support you.
We've got some words here from Yoshinori Kitase, the director of the original Final
What's
Fantasy.
What's Kitase saying about Final Fantasy VII? What's on the forward of the art book?
When FF7 was released 23 years ago, it heralded a shift in game development from 2D pixel art to 3D CG, which demanded a different approach. Tasks became more specialized, and because of the need for designs that could be realized in 3 dimensions, 2D artists were more valuable than ever. However, because of the hardware limitations at the time, it was difficult to completely recreate these designs in-game, and we were forced to pack highly stylized characters into 400 polygons.
We have 400 polygons. You're gonna eat every single one of them.
23 years have passed, and CG technology has advanced in leaps and bounds, allowing for much more realistic depictions of characters. The artists of FF7 Remake are revisiting these designs with a singular focus to maintain the integrity of the original works as much as possible while integrating them into the real modern world. It's something I hope you look out for when comparing the designs of then and now. What will Toads look like this time is one of the things I'd like you to imagine. As
wait, does he literally, he goes on about, like, what would Toads look like? I want you to imagine.
Actually, this is his final sentence, is what will Toads look like this time, is just one of the things I'd like you to imagine as you enjoy the game and what it has to offer.
What? What? Why are they so on about the Toads?
I don't know, but I've already flipped through a lot of the book, and every major character has a Toad form art.
Yeah. No, that I saw that on Twitter too.
But let's get to the real news here. I want to get to the real news here, which is adolescent Cloud Strife with the fucking drip. I mean, look at this kid. This dude.
Yeah.
At least, I mean, dude, my sense of cool is permanently stuck in like 1999 to 2005. That guy looks like the coolest motherfucker who has ever lived.
Combat boots.
Combat boots.
That's style.
He's got a long sleeve.
Such a casual look too.
He's got a long sleeve on under his massively huge white tee, and the long sleeve is like the sleeves are pulled up.
Krill's like, yeah, this game's gonna make you get hit with the Toad status so they can show you Toad multiple times. That didn't happen in the. I mean, like, you get Toad status in like one section in the original. There's like the Touch Me frogs. And that's it. And the art book for the original FF7 also was like real on about these Toads, and I'm just like, what are you guys talking about?
Okay, Toad Barrett is the coolest motherfucker who's ever lived.
Toad Barrett does have like the metal brace on his arm. Toad Barrett.
I'm doing the best I can. And we've got some time to kill.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna end up having to. Man, you remember when we talked about the we had the FF7 Ultimania guide, and we talked about we had the FF7 Ultimania guide, and we fucking we were talking about FF7, and it had all the art, and it had like, okay, here's like the big key character art for like the manuals for all the main characters and stuff like that, and then it just went lower and lower down, and some of the characters only had their in-game character models, and other ones just had like the super basic like chibi sketches by Nomura.
Yeah. Some characters just, didn't get love.
It was really funny.
But they're back.
All of them are back.
Biggs and Wedge are like real.
Biggs, Wedge, and Jesse look like you remember them, except they have. I mean, basically the big thing here is that the original FF7 went with a cartoon art style, had chibi designs, basically because it would be easy to remake those models in game with 400 polygons. Mm-hmm. They just went low ambition with FF7.
Well, they didn't. They had all the ambition
with character models specifically.
They had all the ambition. It just they couldn't fit it into the game.
Right.
They just literally could not fit that into the disc.
Well, the funny thing is, if you compare the in-game character models to the art that was done for them, there are, some of the drawings are more detailed, but, there's a lot of them that look exact like they have the big buffy arms. Whatever.
That's the thing with Final Fantasy compared to any other series, is that when they go into the studio and formulate, this is our idea for what Final Fantasy looks like, they are full ambition from the get-go. And they do it every step of the process of designing stuff is rich. I don't really have a great word for it right now, but just from the moment they put Amani's artwork to paper, even from the Nintendo Entertainment System era of Final Fantasies, that they're going to make this as high detail as possible, and then just condense it down as far as they need to go.
Oh man, they've got key art for all of the major. Since this is just Midgar, you guys got to understand, of course. I mean, I've called it, the Tower of Babel, Jacob's Ladder, whatever the fuck. I mean, I don't know how long this remake project is going to take. I think realistically it could be as little as 3 parts or maybe even 2. but just because the rest of the game could, the part 2 could just be the rest of everything else, or et cetera, et cetera. Final Fantasy VII Remake covers a span of less than the first disc by a lot. The original FF7 is by itself a 35, 37, 40 hour game, depending on how much you do. And it obviously is a full-ass game, or rather it is the full story of Final Fantasy VII. In the original game, Midgar comprises 7 hours.
Yeah.
I think I've cleared it in as little as 4.
Can you put on some light FF7 music?
Yeah, can you get us some get us that?
Yeah, you know the good shit. He's got that on speed dial. Oh, you want Final Fantasy? I got you Final Fantasy. Can you minimize the screen? Oh, is it rolling? There it is.
And so basically the big thing with the FF7 remake is, can you successfully extend FF7 out into more than what it was? Can you extend it out? I've always thought the answer was yes, because I literally wrote a book about how fascinating the game is and how much is packed into it, just based on what we get to see. So if there are people there who quote unquote get it and can expand on those ideas, then we're in for something good, especially because for the first time they finally get to return to FF7 at the time that it occurred, rather than the sequel or the prequel or whatever. It's like, okay, we can revisit specifically the events and the politics and the themes of what happened in FF7.
Yeah. So there was
we should be clear that this is a bad idea.
Speaking of there being, this is not going to be the end of the Final Fantasy VII game as we know it. There was discussion in the years leading up to this, like, hey, like all serialized works, are they doing this because are they doing this out of just because it's such a massive project, or are they doing this because not in great faith, but because they want to make money? Is there is Square Enix doing this to get more money out of their Final Fantasy VII remake? And could they put this all on one disc? Well, I think it's pretty clear at this point, from multiple directions, that this, I really do feel in my heart that this Final Fantasy VII remake project, spanning over multiple releases, is not only the right way to do it in this kind of, in the kind of world we live in, where video games are fucking impossible to make, but also I have it in good faith, honestly. Just because Square Enix has done so good by us for Final Fantasy.
Baja, please.
Yeah, there's your Baja. I don't know how you felt about this. It is an anti-capitalist text that is asking you to pay for it multiple times.
Well,
no ethical consumption and all that,
dude,
but
there's so much plastic and all involved in this, environmentalist game. There's just a fundamental. That's the thing. I wrote a book about this game's left politics, but calling a video game an object of radical left politics is in itself kind of a real piece of cognitive dissonance. You know. It's not about that the game is itself a radical left object. It's that regardless of what was intended, there's no other way to read the game that was made than to say, wow, this is very clearly radically anti-corporate. And if they're interested in revisiting those ideas and all that, then yeah, I think it's a great idea. You're right that if this is the way they want to do it, where they're just going to go deeper into it than the original game, rather than just make the original game again, but better, quote unquote, better, then yeah, it should be done in multiple parts so that the team has time to work on it, rather than a Witcher 3 where it's hey, you need to make a 300-hour game, Final Fantasy VII is massive. That's the thing, is it's not as big as a lot of games today, but it's dense. It's so much more dense than games today. It's so much more dense. And
I think that this proves that. As opposed to them filling it with filler to
Well, here's the other thing.
Pump this out for 3 different...
We've had chances to read reviews of this stuff. We do already know that there is going to be at least the one modern gaming thing of there's going to be people who have lists of things to do, you know?
Right.
And you're going to have, you know, your mini-map and your objective markers and stuff like that. And I do think we should give at least some consideration to the idea that the flat aesthetic that we have on the original FF7 on PS1 that doesn't tell you where to go, expects you to remember what you're supposed to be doing, and doesn't give you anything to do except the thing that you're supposed to be doing, you know, that approach to making a video game is inherently better than this, because that would be my viewpoint, you know.
Sure.
That's at least the one thing that is, you know, it's basically how much story content is going to be attached to new quote unquote filler gameplay content, because you make dumb gameplay shit feel relevant by making it happen in a narrative context, which is what good JRPGs and good action games are about, you know.
That's also the sword that good RPGs will die on, is, you know, forking you over to some side mission while the, you know, main plot is has a looming presence over. You got to go get a cat out of a tree somewhere.
Well, that's the thing. Is
that's kind of what I'm worried about here, but also at the
Yeah.
same time, that you're pointing out a very good point that is the literal game design thing that will always be there in the original FF7. Like, this game cannot obsolesce Final Fantasy VII Original, like many remakes do. Remakes and remasters, they have a tendency to obsolesce the original product.
if they are of high enough quality.
If they're of high enough quality, but also if they're of a similar quality. We see games get remade all the time. This is not even the first remake of Final Fantasy VII. Like,
What?
I'm saying that what's the right way to play Final Fantasy VII, the original version?
Oh,
is it on the
yeah,
PC?
yeah,
is it on the
yeah.
PlayStation 2? Is it PS1? Or where is it? Like,
I can make an easy answer, but
right, everyone can. Everyone's got their version. That's
no. Honestly, the original PC release at the time was like for a significant number of years until like 2012 or something. The only good way to play Final Fantasy VII was the original discs.
right. Yep.
So that's
what I'm saying is that obsolesces the original PS1 version.
Right.
That's normal for video games, just because we move on, stuff happens. But this remake inherently won't obsolesce the game design decisions made in the original FF7,
Right.
with the limitations that they had at the time, because that is such a streamlined
which is
system
interesting.
until you get to the world map, of course. And
Which
then-
is interesting, just because. Sorry. If they had made just imagine if we had this, but you're just like choosing commands and people are walking back and forth. Actually, I think you can make the game run that way. There's
Yeah.
a kind of a way that you can do that. But basically, imagine if you still had the football-based ATB lines and guys are walking up to each other. A straight remake of FF7 actually would theoretically obsolesce the old one, because the idea would be not only have we made this prettier, but theoretically we've updated design decisions that were mistakes in the original FF7 or whatever. Much like a Dragon Quest III Super Nintendo game, where even though there are still some fans of the NES game left, the idea of the SNES one was to be the version. I would say that the here's the thing. There's always been Final Fantasy has always been a little like they've always been a little conservative with remakes, but not as conservative as the Dragon Quest people.
right.
Who are literally just like, we just make the game but in the new engine, and they've been doing, they've been updating engines and making new remakes forever, and then, so with Final Fantasy, so basically, I think for some people, and for me, especially having played it recently, the best JRPG remake for sure is the Dragon Quest III SNES one, just because
absolutely.
it's gorgeous, it's so playable,
without a doubt,
and it makes
it's
me
one of the best.
absolutely understand what's going on with that, because that game like terrified me. Like, I mean, it was like there's just there's things going on there that are just horribly depressing, but.
During our playthroughs of all the Final Fantasies, we played the Game Boy Advance versions of 1 through 5. Mm-hmm. That was an intentional choice that we made, because the originals just don't have certain gameplay elements, like optimizing your equipment, and little things that make the game just flow a lot better. But that's kind of why I'm getting to talking about this remake as something that does not obsolesce just the game design specifically. Because obviously we're going to have graphical updates. There's a lot of this and that. But just the game design part of it, this won't obsolesce that. It'll be a new way of getting to play and feel through Final Fantasy VII. I'm excited about that.
Well, here's the thing. This is the thing that makes it so exciting, is that instead of being backward looking and saying, okay, we're going to look at FF7 as like this thing of worship, more or less, and make it like it was, they say, this series has changed. The last one was an action RPG, et cetera, et cetera. The way that they're doing this FF7 remake is in itself a statement of the way we do Final Fantasy is the right way to do Final Fantasy, which is we change it every fucking time and we don't care what you think.
Right. Yeah. No, this feels like there's a lot more heart in it and a lot of respect and care.
And if you have fond memories of the last one, well, play it again.
There are definitely remakes that feel like that.
Right.
And, yeah.
Oh god, we're getting close here.
We're very, very close. So, as the author of VII, you wrote the book on Final Fantasy VII. As you wrote VII, what's the subtitle? Remind me.
We must save the world for ourselves.
What are you most excited about for the remake?
Theoretically, more nuanced, more basically because
this just became a podcast, by the way.
Since Shinra is big villain here, more or less. I mean, Sephiroth's obviously going to be here. We're obviously going to fight him at least once.
Yeah, there's changes.
Yeah,
I'm interested in what changes you're interested in.
What changes am I interested in?
Yeah, like Sephiroth's here now when he really wasn't before, and a lot of characters are here now when they were not before.
Yeah, and I guess the thing is, it's like.
Because they wanted to get everything in there.
I'm kind of expecting it to get weirdly meta.
Yeah, are you excited about that?
Mixed feelings.
What are you excited about?
What I'm excited about basically is, since Shinra is still more or less big villain here, they've got to do more things to make them look terrible, which means theoretically an even deeper type of kind of anti-capitalist theming.
I mean, we're gonna get by the end of the night Shinra's kid, who's hot, by the way,
right,
in the helicopter, and we're going to fucking kill him. Like, he's not gonna last the end of this game.
You don't think Rufus is gonna make it to the end of part 1?
Doesn't he?
No.
Does he?
No, he.
I thought he gets murked in the helicopter, doesn't he?
No.
What? No,
fuck,
Doy.
No, Jesus Christ.
He grapple hooks out of there.
Yeah, he grapple hooks out of there. He gets killed.
Then.
He gets killed by the Junon cannon thing.
Yeah.
In the whole Midgard deal, and right. The great meat, the northern crater like bounces the Junon cannon right back at the people who fired it, and it just like, in what it's supposed to be perceived as in FF7 before Advent Children was a thing, is that they all got blown to shit right there. Like that. Shinra was over now.
Did he grapple hook out of there again?
No, he did not grapple hook out of there.
Really? It bounced off the Northern Crater and Diamond Weapon didn't shoot his laser? That's how I remember it.
We're getting a big laser fight on the next Final Fantasy R?
Hopefully.
I think the real question is, how many more parts are there going to be? And I think if it goes past 2, that's when I'll say, yeah, this is a little,
I hope there's 7.
There's 7 parts to the 7 remake?
Yeah!
Part 6, Chocobo Racing.
Yeah!
I love the idea that I have always envisioned my idea of a truly grand narrativistic game project would be a game series where like it's a continuous narrative and they're all in a slightly different genre. And by the end it's like the first one is like a 2D platformer, and by the end it's a full-on 3D action RPG with a racing mini game that is based off of a full racing game that was one of the games in the series, because at one point the characters got really into cars.
7R, and the R stands for racing.
Final Fantasy VII Racing.
Cloud's in his little go-kart. He's got the Buster Blade, Buster Sword on his back.
Can we get the fucking the motorcycles on?
Chocobo.
Find online.
You can play as the Chocobo, and they're like racing in their own little go-kart that's Chocobo flavor.
Instead of just running, which would be funnier.
You mean like Chocobo Racing?
They have kart racing and Chocobo racing?
Wait,
Yeah.
wait. In the Chocobo racing games, you're not racing Chocobos standing; they're in carts.
Yeah, you know, from the old game.
Oh man, I need to lay down some times
Do you
in
not?
Final Fantasy Chocobo racing?
fucking Chocobo racing. 2 minutes, baby.
Girl says, stop making me want a 7 racing game, please. Chocobo, chickens, driving, go-karts. What better is there?
All right,
They've got materia that they slot into their go-kart.
all right. Let's settle this
sorry.
now. Who's
The
playing?
Chocobo has a skaters on,
Nice.
got
Nice.
skates.
like
that-
rollerblades.
That's
alpha?
Motor-powered rollerblades.
That's fucking dope.
It's a little baby
All right, let's
alpha.
settle this now. Who's playing the first 2 hours?
QB.
All right.
I am.
It's your game, dude.
Yeah, good point.
Hey, if you don't wanna.
All right. So without further ado, I'm so fucking excited.
Everybody, welcome.
I cannot sit down. This is gonna
Welcome
be-
to Final Fantasy VII Until We Beat. Final Fantasy VII Remake Until We Beat. The Until We Beat for the game event release of a lifetime.
Yeah, we might die on stream.
FF7 has been the greatest game ever made since I was born. I mean, you know,
Yep.
like since I
It sure has.
since I've been, I'm just saying, since I've been a small child, I have been told and read and heard and believed that Final Fantasy VII was like the most important thing that ever happened.
Yep. It is.
Accurate.
It is. We played through every single fucking Final Fantasy game just to confirm what everyone's already said, that this is the best Final Fantasy game. It's not my favorite. It's not everyone's. Like, it doesn't have to be your favorite.
We
you
can all
have.
disagree on the favorite.
We love disagreeing on the favorite,
Yeah.
but this is the best one. Like, just fucking the craft in it is sublime. And if it is your favorite Final Fantasy, you got great fucking taste.
Yeah.
And
Also, if any of the
Galaxy
other-
Brain, if this is good, 8 and 9 in the same style, please, because that would be awesome. Especially 9 with the fucking, I mean, to quote the Dungeon Synth comments, pastoral.
Thanks for Dungeon Synthwave, by the way. Did you know they make Synthwave just for Dungeoneers? Dungeon Synthwave. Anyway, sorry.
There are people who make like Kingsfield soundtracks for fun. Okay, we need the
Insert
data. We need the data
play
disc. All right. This is so recursive. This is so fucking recursive.
Dude, life cycles like
Oh
that,
yeah,
man.
give me that. Let's
Oh
go
yeah,
ahead.
let's just put everything in the hard disk.
Yeah, let's
Case.
yeah, let's make sure this shit is real protected.
Yeah.
It is time to go.
Hey, buddy.
That's not the. There we go. I had it on. That ain't right. Hey, y'all remember Final Fantasy 13 remake?
I remember Final Fantasy 13 remake.
Did we beat FF13 remake?
Oh, did you title it FF13 remake?
No, look at the fucking screen, man.
Oh, lol. Oh, did you get the wrong FF? You got the wrong FF logo.
Yeah. We've been rocking the 13 for months.